Back again with regards to this Ghetts issue. Basically, this has been discussed several times now over the last few days. I'm going straight in. What we have, especially in my case, are even those that say and allege to be friends of Ghetts. For example, a friend of his has said already, using his real name and going straight in, saying basically that, boy, he's saying, I'll put it I'll phrase it in what has been said here, because it seems a lot of people, especially from the community, have some kind of problem or a big issue in providing, accountability here, or shall I say, accepting what has happened, happened here. And obviously, one thing this community are very good at are brushing things under the carpet. Okay, we're the masters of it. Like I said in the previous video, if it was some form of black court and he was before the black judge in that instance, then boy, I'm sure he'd walk. Because like I said, there's no with our community. Well, sorry, with that sector of the community. Yeah, with that sector of the community, popularity comes first, justice comes second. And I like him, so I'm going to give him a pass. That's how they roll. Okay, but anyway, simply put, the conversation, breaking it down, would go something like this. Obviously, the car was going at a speed. The guy was probably not going to survive. Yes, we agree there. But then they'll go on to say, hopefully there's more to the situation, so he doesn't get life. Meaning, maybe there's more. And this is the thing. You're fumbling in the dark already, looking for some kind of excuse to look around and say, yeah, maybe there's more to it, so he doesn't get any punishment. And then, obviously, they go on to say, well, it's bad vision at night time. The guy was walking, maybe drunk, or maybe he drank too much, staggering in the road, or they start saying he's wearing dark clothing. This is 2 or 3 of the excuses I've got from one person already. He's wearing dark clothing, the guy was drunk, he staggered in the road, and none of this is true. Walking in a straight line, yeah, minding his business. Yeah, wasn't drunk from what I know, minding his business, walking in a straight line, and even tried to step out of the way, but the car was going too fast and he got hit. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say, and there's more excuses which I'm going to illustrate later. These just one from a particular conversation, but going straight in. Yeah, I accept. Like I said, he's a very popular guy. Like I said, in all the comments I've read, all the websites I've seen, all the pages I've seen on Facebook, bits of Reddit, all that I've seen so far, no one has gone in on him. No one has thrown a book at him. I'm not familiar with him, so obviously he's doing something right. He's very popular. As we know, he's got the Supercell Netflix series. I think he's won a Brit Award. He's won a Mobo, and obviously a little while back, wasn't he? Did he win a Gospel Award very recently? So like I said, maybe, just maybe, he won the Gospel Award in some kind of roundabout way. Maybe karma's come to collect. Because he was obviously doing the bad boy thing before, the gospel thing now. Maybe a higher power is saying, hold on a minute, let me make an example out of this. Meaning, higher power seen the badness, and he's saying, okay, so you want to come into my church, into my realm, into my world of gospel. Let me fix up on that. But hey, that's a side issue. I'm dealing with what is here and what I'm going to be dealing with. Okay. So yes, I've addressed the issue of my conversation with people I know that know him and that were defending him. Yep. Yes, he's done a few things. Netflix, Supercell, won a few awards. But looking at this again, yeah. Looking at this again. Looking at this again. Looking at this again. I have to be very critical here. Yeah. Very critical here. I mean, if it was my own son, I couldn't defend it. I couldn't defend it. I couldn't defend it. And one thing I've noticed as well is some people, yeah, when they're analyzing this and breaking it down, yeah, like I said before, yeah, they're saying condolences to the victim, and they're saying condolences to Ghetts fam too, which again draws an indirect false equivalence because you're putting a parity between both. Okay, like they're both having the same equal amount of pain, guilt, and punishment here. No, it doesn't work like that. And I've addressed that in the first video. I mean, if that was your own son, for anyone who's defending it, if that was your own son or a relative, yeah, or another family member, would you have the same stance? No, I don't think you would. So it's interesting why you would have that point of view with regards to this. Simply put, the attachment's not there. So you're looking in and saying that. But if it was one of your own family members, you would not be accepting it like that. End of story. I mean, people are saying the defenders are saying it was a long, clear road. Why did he step in the path? Ultimately, conversely, I can say if it's a long, clear road, then why didn't Ghetts slow down? Why didn't Ghetts see him? If it's a long, clear road, then there's no obstacles in the way, is there? There's no other cars in front of him. He should have seen him. So it is what it is. And there's a few excuses that have come up, which I'm going to go into in a moment. You know what I mean? But people are saying it's a clear road. The kid had no time to look. I can conversely say that obviously Ghetts, that's the case. He has more time to look and more time to observe and more time to slow down. People are saying everybody makes mistakes. Of course they do, but there's levels to mistakes. Yeah, you have to understand that. There's levels to mistakes. And like I said, this is a bit of a humorous one, but the way some people are, I'm surprised if it's true that he was drinking. That these people aren't going to start blaming the alcohol company. They start saying, if he's drinking, let's say he was drinking Moet, they're going to start blaming Moet. They'll say, guess what, Moet? Maybe you shouldn't be serving drinks at X time, or maybe an hour before the end of an event, you start serving drinks. That's how you all are. That's how you all are. You find everywhere and any excuse but to put the blame where it should be. I mean, like I said, if it was black court, if it was black court time now, it was black court time. Max should serve his 3 years. So yeah, 3 years and boom. And an interesting thing I'm going to say. Yeah, interesting thing I'm going to say. Yeah, this is what I think. People are saying his career's over. In terms of being a bigger star, like the Netflix thing, and like going to that next level, yes, it is over. But I do believe that in terms of there's been said that there's been lesser sentences for things like this, maybe, but ultimately, wherever they give him, I think he can come back. He will come back, but it'd be on that grime level, like on a lesser level. He'll be like hood famous, as it were. He won't be as big as he is, and all the plaudits and all the awards that'll go, but you'll still be able to represent on a lower level, and they'll still have that love for him and sympathy for him. Like I said, it's a very twisted community. So in some instances, he may have actually have attained respect for this. I know it sounds crazy. if that makes sense, you know. But yeah, I mean, some news has just come in. Some news has just come in. Before I wrap it up, well, kind of wrap it up. The name of the individual has been brought to me now. So we're not going to refer to him as a 20-year-old kid anymore or 20-year-old man anymore. Yubin Tamang is his name. So take out a little bit of respect there. R.I.P. to Yubin Tamang. He was the student who actually came over, from what I've read. He came over from overseas to start a better life in the UK. But unfortunately, his life was sadly taken in this manner, you know. And also, there's been words from Ghetts now just come through. A statement's come through. And let me just get that up. Ghetts has issued a three-word apology stating, "I'm so sorry." Those are the official words from Ghetts. And in turn, interestingly, the family have come out and spoke. So the family have come out. The victim's mother has come out and spoke. She has said basically, sorry does not bring my son back, she said quietly. But if he truly means it, he will understand what he's taken from us. Then maybe that's where justice begins. Her words have gone viral, sparking a wave of emotional debate online. Some praising her for showing compassion in the face of unimaginable loss. Others were furious, arguing that an apology isn't enough when a life has been taken. Meanwhile, legal experts say Ghetts' statement can influence future proceedings, though prosecutors will likely treat it as a public relations move rather than legal remorse until proven otherwise. Okay. So, just to conclude now a few statements from what I've read regarding this whole thing, this whole case, from those defenders of Ghetts. Obviously, the pedestrian ignored the fact it was the place to cross the road and should have crossed by making distance shortest as possible instead of crossing it diagonally like that without even looking back. Speed was also an issue, but road is not for walking unless in white stripes. Oh gosh. Little man ran into the side of the car. What hit him? Oh gosh. If he ran backwards, he might still be alive. Ghetts shouldn't have been speeding, but the guy crossing the road like a snail and paying no attention whatsoever. The guy crossing the road is partly to blame. With bad road crossing safety, you should always look both ways when crossing. So I'm 50-50 on this one. Like an adult, you are responsible to cross the road safely and not doodle across the road like you indestructible. Suppose he found out the hard way, I suppose. Awful. If he looked left, would have seen the car and bevy to stop and let car pass. Instead, didn't look and only heard the car when it was too late, and pretty noisy as well. Imagine it was a Tesla, you wouldn't have heard nothing, so you should always look, especially when it's dark. Everybody knows people drive faster at night. It's a fact, unfortunately. Dear. Here's a good interaction. All the comments on his Insta, like Free Ghetts, is just what's wrong with that type of community. There's a response here to that saying, and what is that type of community then? Exactly what community are you talking about? And there you go. That's the thing with this community. And I will say that is the thing with, that sector of the community. You're the masters of deflecting. You've got the full box of tricks. Deflecting, angling things, the master of sidestepping things. Here's another one. That's already plenty have received extremely light sentences for this. That's actually true. So keep an eye on this one. Okay. See, them phones and headphones are no joke. You have to pay attention to the road at all times. My goodness. If you are going to cross the road, do it in the shortest distance. Why take so long to cross the road at night time too? Dear, dear, dear. Let me wrap it up here. But yeah, any other further events that or occurrences that take place, we'll definitely look to um, do a video on those as well. But anyway, R.I.P. to the young man. R.I.P. to Yubin Tamang. We now know his name. And yeah, condolences. Okay, bless. Later.